7,586 feet, the elevation of Camp Tamarack, where I spent my alleged vacation last week. 6.5 days, 40 diners, 3 meals per day, 3 cooks, no experience at cooking for large groups, and guess what? No budget. The week before, the camp had been closed down because of a bacterial infection in the water system, so they just said, oh, well, why don't you just use the food that was left over from last week? Big emphasis on not spending any more money. Well, they called me up and asked me to go, and I said, oh no, I can't do that. I've never done anything like that before. If you don't go, we're closing down the camp. Okay. Why should kids go to Camp Tamarack? That's why I went as the cook. Why should kids go? I'm going to give you an example. During the course of the camp, we found a little bag of marijuana partially hidden under pine needles in the tent. One of the counselors came to me, the person who happened to be staying in the tent, said, can't we just overlook this? Can't we just kind of push this to the side and not do anything about it? I explained to him in my most Sunday school teacher voice, God gave us a covenant to be here at this camp. And the kids signed a covenant to come to this camp that they would not bring any substances or act in certain ways. I said, we have an obligation to make sure they fulfill their covenant. He looked at me. There was a big light bulb coming out of his head. And he said, I get it. We're here to build character. That's the fact. We were there to build character. Now, my role in building character consisted of sleeping in a cabin with no covered window, no closing doors, and yes, indeed, there were bears and cows in the camp, lots of them. I had to walk at an angle about that steep to get to my cabin, but to get to the bathroom, it was this. It was not good. It was over a 45-degree angle. It was tough. It was interesting. Okay, start time. You would not take a vacation like this if it were advertised the way I'm about to tell you, 6 a.m. Get down there, get the water on for coffee, get the water on for hot chocolate for the campers. The campfire opened at 6. You got to be ready for these kids. Normally they didn't show up till 6:15, so we had a little bit of slack there. End time, 8:30 p.m. In between, in the morning, 20-minute break. That was to make your way up to the bathroom. In the afternoon, you actually got maybe an hour or 2 off because you had to cook breakfast, clean up after breakfast, start prep for lunch, cook lunch, clean up after lunch, take a short break, start prep for dinner, serve dinner, clean up after dinner. Oh, did I forget? Snacks in the afternoon and dessert. They got to have a dessert for campfire. And then the next morning, you'd get to come in and wash the dishes that they made at the campfire. It was interesting. No electricity. Propane only. Yeah, this camp was built in the 50s and has not been upgraded since then. Okay, the interesting part about the whole thing, I was working with 2 other cooks who had never cooked in their lives. Not only that, they didn't like each other and didn't know what their role was in the pecking order. And they didn't really like me either. I had the most interesting experience. Have any of you ever seen Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen? Call me Gordon. Call me Ms. Ramsay. Michael, the oldest of the cooks, except for me. I said, Michael, have you put out the syrup for the pancakes? 2 minutes later, Michael, have you put out the syrup for the pancakes? Approximately 30 seconds later, Michael, you have 2 choices. You can answer me. I don't care how you answer me. Excuse my language, guys. You can say yo or yes, bitch. But if you don't answer me, you will know what yes, bitch means. Okay. Following that, Michael started answering me. It was not easy. He took upon himself to do things. He did not communicate with other people, like the night that he turned off the oven in which the tri-tip that was supposed to be baking was not. Okay. A really classic example of what we faced. We got there, we did not know what food we had available to cook. I sat everyone down. I said the first thing we are going to do is make an inventory. One of the temporary cooks started whining. Why do we have to do that? We have to get dinner ready. We had to prepare menus because the menus that we were given were not suitable for the food that we had available. An example, Wednesday night, chicken enchiladas. We were supposed to have chicken enchiladas, vegetarian enchiladas, and a special menu for a girl that was allergic to everything. We had chicken enchiladas. We had no vegetarian enchiladas. And when we looked on the package, it said, cover enchiladas with sauce and bake. We had no sauce. Fortunately, I do know how to cook. Not for 40 people, but I can cook for 12 or 15, so I just sort of multiplied everything times 3. We ended up with a vegetarian enchilada casserole, chicken enchiladas with sauce, and a specialty menu for the girl that was allergic to everything. After that dinner, I think the guys treated me with a little more respect. In fact, by the end of camp, we were working together. We were a team. It was incredible. So now the question is this. Did I have fun? The answer is no. I did not have fun. Did I think it was worth doing? Yes. The camp would have closed unless there was another cook, someone who would basically be the head cook. Would I do it again?
No.
Maybe. I'm not going to guarantee that. I can't say yes, I can't say no at this point. I would rather not. I'm now going to have my little hip operation much sooner than I thought, thanks to walking up to the cabin. But my personal opinion on why I would consider doing it again. Have you ever seen tamarack trees? They grow straight up to the sky. If you want to see the stars, you crane your neck and you look straight up and maybe you can see 3. In my opinion, God lives there when he isn't doing other things. Anyone would want to live there. Anyone would want to go there. It was worth it. It made a difference.